Right here, we've had your number covered for the past 5 years. We got the action, we got the show, and making it better is the only way that we know. It's called Let's Go Bowling, and we came to play.
Let's Go Bowling, brought to you by True Value Hardware. For quality, selection, and personal attention, make True Value Hardware your store of first choice.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Go Bowling. I'm Jim Klein. We're here at Canal Lanes today in Southampton. We've had the Men's Pro Tour in here, and if you caught our last show, you know that the number 2 seed, John Miller, had to do some real scrambling to get by a rejuvenated Harry Renaud. Well, John is back this week to take on Harry's son, Steve, in the finals. Steve Renaud is here as the number 1 seed, and we'll be back with some bowling right after this. Miller has made the championship round for the 3rd year in a row.
Nice ball. Good ball, John.
Good looking ball. To start it off, he's left the 4-7-10. He has some wood on the left-hand side.
Winner of this match gets $1,400. Second place gets $700.
And couldn't quite scoot it over into the 10. And John will settle for a 10 bucks to start the first string. 3 years now he's been in the championship round. He has been a bridesmaid the first 2 times. To the left of the head pin, he leaves the 1-3. Lost by a pin 2 years ago. Last year he lost by 5 pins, and one of the finest matches we've had on this show against Jeff Atkins. Now he comes up just short of a spare again. There's a 3.
Back last year is Johnny Miller bowled a 150, a 129, and his last game a 185. Good strings, tough to lose by that total score. 464 for a total of 3.
464 and you lose. You lose by 5 pins. That's something. Steve Renaud now. And he gets some action. We came real close to seeing a father-son match here today, but John prevailed against Steve's father.
Nice 10.
Steve's out of there with the 10 bucks. So we're still even. A couple of years on the tour. Averaged 134. Oh, there they go. Slow hammer. Good start for Steve Renaud.
Sit up. She's a pretty one.
John leaves the 2-4-6.
Off the wall.
Oh, boy. Almost had one off the wall.
I think it was last week's show he had that same shot, Jim, in the first box, and he converted it.
Converted. Oops.
Okay.
All fit in the gutter. That's a 10 and a pair of 9s. And that's half of them. I said Steve had a 134 average this year. That earned him the top seed. John came in with a 133.6 for the second seed. So there's not really much that separates these two bowlers out here today.
He's going to get it.
The more experienced of the two. Still looking for his first mark in this string. He's a pair of 10s and a pair of 9s, and now Steve Renaud with a strike in the second. It's the 4-7. And he's got a spare on top of that strike. 10-pin fill. Gives him an 11-pin lead right off the bat. An opportunity here with a 6-pin fill.
4 horsemen remaining on the right side. Split the 1-3.
Oh, he's right there.
Pretty sure.
Well, that's 3 marks in a row, and 4 frames into this one, Steve Renaud has a real nice lead. We'll be back with the rest of the first string after this. So many marks last week's show. He's still looking for his first one here in this string. I'm not even sure in last week's show, I'm not even sure he had 4 opens in any of those 3 strings. It'd probably be as many as he had. Well, there's one.
Yeah, it seems as though he would get 2 marks in a row, then open, and 2 marks in a row, and so forth.
Good ball. And the 9-pin fill leaves the 8 standing. And he's got some roadblocks for his spare.
Yeah, he's got to look this over carefully. I think he can squeeze in between, but he may play it safe. And
going for the wood, and he got it. He's out of there. A couple of spares for John Miller. Now Steve has 3 marks in a row. He's to fill his spare here. Nice smooth ball. That's 5 pins. He's got the 9 tucked behind the 4 horsemen. Gives him a 23-pin lead, that fill. However, he's up against a pair of spares, the next 2 boxes. This will be a tough one here. Boy, he was close.
Good try.
Right in the hole. And he gets his 10 bucks. That lead now reduced to 14 pins as Steve leaves one open. And once again, he's going to lose a few unless he can get out of this one. Oh, a little short, little short. That was close. He's got his 10 box. Pair of 10s now. Nothing worse than a 10 up there on Steve's side. John has a couple of 9s. He also has a spare in the 6, so this to fill.
Nice ball.
Right in there.
One more.
9-pin fill, everything with the 10.
All over.
Another spare leave here for him.
He's pulled back to within 5 pins. He's got his spare. 3 in a row, so we're giving bonus money away right off the bat here. They're in your pockets, Frank.
Yeah. Yeah, they're sticking out. Oh, an inverted triangle. Very tough shot to convert. Well, he can try to play this and skin the 5-pin on the right-hand side, or the 4-pin on the left side. He knew he right down the middle.
Field goal.
Yeah.
So 3 spares in a row for John Miller, and that got him right back in the ball game in a hurry. Steve with 2 opens. Full. This is a 2, 3, 4, 6.
I think we can call that a baby pinochle.
Baby pinochle.
Baby pinochle. I think we can call it that. Well, we got a chance here. We might as well give a rundown on...
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. That was a good 10. In this series here on the Pro Tour, we're going to give a little rundown on how the other bowlers made out money-wise. We got 6th place was Al Johnson, gets 100. 5th place, Dan Meyer gets 200. 4th was Scott Whitney for a total of 300. And last week's defeat was 3rd seed Harry Renaud. He gets $500. Loser on today's match gets $700, and a winner gets $1,400. Well, that spare will put Steve back out in front again. We have a back-and-forth match going here. Steve came back after having 3 marks in a row. He came back with 3 10 boxes and lost his lead, down by 2 after 7. But the spare with a fill will give him the lead again. By itself, he's down by 1. John sticks a 10 box up there. And now the final frame. He's at 112. Nothing quite like last week yet, and ooh, that's a tough ball. 3 pins.
John's going to take that 4-pin and slice it across.
Now he has the left side. He's got it.
Good out.
So
good out
it's a very good out. And another 10 box for John Miller. Just 3 spares in this string, 3 in a row. Finishes with a 122. Steve to fill on his spare now. Ooh, misses the head pin. That's a 4-pin fill. So not a great advantage there. He is now up by 3. He gets everything but the 7.
If you recall, I think his father last week was doing the same type of situation, missing the head pin on the right, throwing a good second ball, not carrying that 7-pin. Like father, like son situation.
Steve's getting the corners, though.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Still a 3-pin lead. A 10 box will maintain a 3-pin lead. It's close.
Spread eagle. Can he convert it?
He's out the right wing. And no, he doesn't get the left wing. He will take an 8 box. So after 1 string, just 1 pin separates these 2 bowlers. Steve Renaud up by a pin over John Miller, and we'll be back with the 2nd string after this. Leads by a pin. after one string. Hitting that head pin on the heavy side this afternoon. That's 5 of them.
2, 4, 7, 9, and 10. He's going to have to split the 2 and the 4.
Ooh, almost out. He's got the 10. The 10 and some deadwood over there that could be a roadblock. Nope, it's not. He opens it with the 10 box. Some late action there, leaves the 1-7.
He's got a good spare leave here. He's got to just hit the head pin, either on the inside or the outside.
Oh, he did it.
Chose to go to the outside. Carried it in.
So a 10 and a spare to start it off. John Miller has been on the Pro Tour 4 years now. A little bit to the right. 6 pins go.
Oh, nice shot by John. Should have had it.
The 8 pin. And he'll miss that to the right and settle for a 9 here in the first box. There goes the 2. The 4-7. Remain. And some wood will stay in front of that.
I'd like to remind anybody who would like to join the Pro Tour, check with your Western New England Candlepin Association member, fill out a form. And I believe we're just getting underway with the tour, and they travel to different houses around the Western New England.
John down by 2 pins overall. Needs this spare to stay in there. He gets it. Right in there, and all but the 7. Steve Renaud, 25 years old. He's a glass cutter at United Lens. He's got his spare. That and a 9-pin fill. Left side, shakes the 7. But it's glued down. 1-3-7. Use the wood and only get 1. Oh, and that was close, but he'll have to settle for a 9 box. And now John Miller to fill. Still a very close game. John gets a 8-pin fill. So he'll lose another pin. He now trails by 2 in the string and 3 overall. And needs a spare to maintain. He's got a good shot at that. See what happens. Oh, he's got it. So both bowlers with spares in the second and third box.
Nice ball. Nice ball.
And that's an 8-pin fill. So he picks up one. Boy, it's a close one.
Even Steven, I believe. No, he's behind.
Down by two. Down by two overall.
I looked at the wrong side here.
Oh, but that changed it right there. More bonus money. 3 spares in a row for John Miller, and that's going to put him in the lead in this string and overall. We'll be back with the rest of the second string after this. Steve had a couple of spares and then a 9 in the fourth. He has lost the lead, and he lobbed that one. We haven't seen one of those in a while. That hurts. That hurts.
Well, with that lob, you got a lousy spare leave, so probably better off. Call was made by Bobby Ireland, who runs the men's pro tour.
Whoa, look at that. Boy, you look at that.
That's what I mean, you're better off.
That's,
Not really, but I mean, he got the break.
spare's a spare. Unless it looked like a strike, I suppose. And you know, I was going to remark, he really gets that ball down early, too. I mean, that thing's on the, that's on the boards right back here at the foul line almost. Ooh.
Steve really fires that ball down. He's got to be right on the mark, or something just like this would happen. He can chop right out if he's off by here.
I think it's an 8-pin fill and a 10 box in the sixth. And now John Miller
Keep it going, Jen. Keep it going.
to fill his spare. Oh, that's a nice one, a 9-pin fill.
Right on it.
So John moves into the lead by 9 pins, but he's up against a spare here. He's should get one. Ooh. Didn't do it.
He gets a 9 on that, Jim. His ball made contact with the wood in the gutter, and then it ricocheted off into the 10 pin, so it doesn't count. He gets a 9 box.
And now we're even again, 73 apiece. Oh, look at this.
There's a strike.
First hammer. And so we're not even again. And triangle. Look at Steve's eyes. It's like he's really bearing down. Oh. Drove the 2 right back between them. And he'll have to settle for a 9. Good looking scores up there. 3 spares, a couple of 10s, a couple of 9s, and now another triangle. A 6, 9, 10.
He's got to hit that triangle, one side or the other.
And he did the same thing. Off just a little bit.
That's what I was saying before. You throw a fastball, you got to be on accurate. Too full, and that's what you get.
And another 9 box for Steve Renaud. You see John Miller has that strike up there. He has 4 marks. 4 marks in this game thus far. It's 5 of them. 1 more to fill. All but 2, so that's an 8-pin fill. And and an 8-pin lead. Gets the rest of them with that third ball.
Johnny Miller for years used to be extremely fast bowler, just like Steve. But last year or so, he's slowed down on his ball, and it's working for him. Puts it in the pocket, gets a good drop, gets some nice spare leaves to shoot at.
Well, from an age standpoint, a decade separates these two guys.
Yeah.
Steve is 25 and John is 35. That could be a reason to slow it down a little bit.
Yes. I think John realizes his arm is can't throw as fast as he used to. That's what we try to teach our boys and girls, that speed doesn't mean a thing as long as you get accuracy.
Ooh. 5-7-10. He does have some wood on the right. So could get something silly going here.
He would want to try to slice the 5 on the left side and drive it over and get some wall action. But
he's going to try to use that wood.
He's trying to use that wood, is correct.
And he'll settle for another 9, his third 9 in a row. And 9s do not get it right now.
You know, he can be just like his father, very explosive, put all the strikes together.
The bucket. Final frame here in the second string. And he's got his spare. So he'll get one more shot at it.
See the hand on it.
120 with one ball to roll.
That's his 4th spare. His first mark since the 5th frame. And that's a good-looking ball. He rolls a hammer. So he come out of that one with a 130 and gives Johnny something to shoot at.
Hey, John, all the way out.
Shouldn't be too tough to beat a 130 here. John is at 101 with a spare in the 8th. He fills that with a 7.
Set up nice.
Put him at 118.
I like it.
And the wood tucks in nicely.
It's what we call is wired up for him. But you never know.
Well, there it goes. Another spare.
Come on.
And John Miller now set to take the lead in this string, in this game. He does it with a 9-pin fill. He has the lead, and he still has this frame to go.
5 pins plus this.
And that's more bonus money.
Extra 25 right here.
Second time in this string, he's rolled 3 in a row.
He'll have 15-pin lead plus what he gets on his ball.
Oh, not too many. 3 pins. So an 18-pin lead for John Miller. As he, well, no, he gets. Yeah, I'm forgetting the 1 pin from the first place here. It's a 19-pin lead, and we'll be back with the 3rd and final string after this. Miller sitting on a 19-pin lead now. And the triangle is left.
Inverted triangle, Jim. Inverted. See the pins in the back?
It's the second time we've seen it today.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, he's got him. That wood helped him out. John, a bridesmaid 2 years running now. Very good bowler. And he's got a shot at the big money right here.
All right, let's go.
9 frames to go. That's a 4-pin fill. It's a break. Yeah.
Or 7-10 remaining. 2 pieces of deadwood.
He can get this one. He can get out of here. No, it leaves a 7.
Yes, he did
Oh,
get it.
there goes a 7. I think somebody threw that ball up there. Came up from underneath.
Sure did. As long as he made fair contact with any type of wood on a lane, anything after that, it's considered good.
Oh, a hammer for Steve Renaud to start this final string so he can make up those 19 pins in a hurry if he wants to start rolling marks on us. It's a bucket.
Bucket, one of the toughest shots there is, but you got a piece of wood tucked in between. Every bowler would love to see that wood in between there.
Yep, there it goes. Wood made all the difference in the world. And that's a mark. Striking a spare for Steve. And John has lost a great deal of that lead already.
John's got a good spare leave here, 3-6.
Ooh, my. Left it out to the left. Did not like that one.
Those are shots he knows that he should pick up.
Those are the shots he'll remember tonight if he doesn't win this tournament. Right there, that one cost him.
We'll keep that in mind.
Big ball. Big ball. Now a pair of 10s now. And 2-4.
Another easy spare leave for him.
Should be able to convert here. He does. His second spare. And now Steve to Phil. A 5-pin Phil. That gives him an 11-pin lead in the string. He's down by 8 overall, so it's still extremely close. Takes a $9. Nine pins separate these two bowlers. John Miller has a spare here in the 4th. Steve Renaud sticks a strike up there against him.
It's going to be a good match. Going to go right down to the wire. Got that feeling.
Well, there are only 6 frames to go. Oh, my. Half Worcester. And that's just a 2-pin fill for John. So good second ball.
Yeah, very good.
5-10. And he'll take a 9 box.
Okay, John, you got to shake it off. Get back in this deep concentration. Get back on that head pin.
Here's the pinochle. Unless the 10 goes, it's not going to, but then we'll look at the 4. All the woods on the left around the 4-pin.
He's going to have to cap this on the left-hand side, drive it across. Just
there,
like
he's got it. He's got it.
Pretty shot by John.
3rd spare of the game. Now Steve with a real good chance here to cut into that deficit. That's a 5-pin fill. No, excuse me, he's got a strike up there. He's got another shot.
He's going to have to play this on a red band. Drive the deadwood into the 5 cluster to 5.
Yes. Make that a 10-pin, Phil. One pin separates these two bowlers now.
Come on. There goes, guy. 1 pin in.
6, Phil.
2, 4, 7, and the 6.
And that will put Steve in the lead.
Oh, he had a good shot at that.
Oh my, I think that 3 was bobbing and weaving and everything else to stay in there. He's out with a 10 box. But Steve is taking the lead. He's up by 6 pins after 5 frames. Now, John has a spare here in the 6th, and he fills it with an 8.
So John goes back into the lead by 2 pins.
Oh, boy, is this close. This is a match.
Yes, very good match.
Let's get the 7-10 split. 3 pieces of wood. Almost going to lean to the right. But he's got a little funnel, a little wedge that he can use to convert these.
Nice shot. John's made 2 excellent split shots.
Whoa.
Big Phil now.
Kind of makes up for that 6-10 that he missed back in the 3rd frame.
Triangle. He's got to forget about that for now.
Pretty one, didn't it?
That hurt him for sure, but oh boy. 3 in a row again. And that will put the pressure on Steve Renaud.
Let's go.
Steve is up by 17 in the string, but he's down by 2 overall.
Get him.
There you go, guy. There you go.
Get up, Steven. Get up, Steven.
Come on.
I'd like to remind our bowlers that next week we'll be going back to our regular scheduled time. It's Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Oh, he does not pick him up.
And we'll begin that show with the men's single scratch.
And he doesn't get his 10 box, so he's going to take a 9. He is down by 10 pins now. 3 frames to go. He's up against a spare here, too.
He's got to stay marking to keep even with Johnny.
He should be able to get his mark.
And he's got a roadblock.
Yes. That's tough. That thing didn't move at all. Just fell right over.
He's going to have to cap it.
He got it. Good ball.
Nice shot by Steve.
Oh, it's a close one. It is a close one.
2 more.
Both bowlers with spares in the 8th frame. Johnny to Phil now. He bounced that one. Oh,
he's going to get a break.
He takes him out.
Yeah, he got a break.
So he's got the 7 now for his spare, and that also is a 9-pin Phil. Drives it back into the 7. That's 4 marks in a row, 4 spares.
$50 in bonus money on the string.
And he's going to get... No. This time they stay up.
Well, he's got a nice shot here.
4-7, or the 3-7-10.
Right. Going to have to place this ball right on that red band on a piece of deadwood and throw it across into the 7. He went too high. Too high.
That was a big
time.
one. he gets out with a 9, he's not going to do that. Make it an 8. So John Miller finishes with a 134. And he has left the door open a bit for Steve Renaud.
Steve needs a 135 to win the match. Hang on, everybody. Here we go. I believe he's tied with him on this string in the 8th box.
Six of them.
No, I take that back. I was
He's
thinking,
a 153, right, to
right.
tie?
Yeah, I was thinking back. He still had a 158.
Whoa, he gets out of there. So that's a 10-pin fill. That puts him at 139. Yep, 5 pins. Needs to fill by 5.
Let's see.
He needs a 153 here.
This is the ball right here.
He's going to do it.
He did it. Oh, he got them all. He got them all.
What a finish.
Yes. Needed a 153. He got a 159. He got them all. And this one is over. And once again, John Miller is a bridesmaid, but we had 2 400 series out here today. This was quite the contest, right down to the finish. And we'll be back. We'll talk with these gentlemen after this. Steve Renaud, our winner this year. Ball, and he needed 5 to do it then. And John, I feel kind of bad for you. 2 years ago, you lose by a pin, and last year by 5 pins, and now this year by 6 pins, yeah. and you had a good day. There's nothing wrong with the way you were bowling.
No, well, we got something in common because I feel bad for me too. But but Stevie's a great bowler. I want to say something about last year. Stevie needed 103 his back half, his last 5 boxes to be the #1 seed, and he threw 113 in his last 5 boxes to beat me out. He's just that kind of a bowler. He's that great of a bowler. And it comes down to the end, he's there, and he did it again today. What can I say?
He had it when he needed it. Well, I'll tell you what, you got some nice bonus money today, $175 for your strings, and also for finishing over 400 once again. And we have a check for $700 for being the runner-up once again. So you can buy a little something with that.
It could be a lot worse. But it was great. I want to thank Western New England, and I want to thank Panaland for sponsoring, and this is just a great tournament. It's good for us bowlers and good for the game.
Well, John, thanks for joining us again. We love your show.
Congratulations.
Thanks, John. Good bowling. You needed a big box there in the end to do it, didn't you?
I think I got a little lucky in the 9th day. I got that strike. Everything came from left to right. Made the difference. I had a decent spare break in the last box. I knew I had a chance with that, but the strike was a little lucky.
Well, you had the strike. You didn't really need the strike, but you had the 5 pins before you came up with
2 marks the last 2 boxes. John's a great friend of mine, a great bowler. No luck for him. I'm glad I won. You know,
you got the money anyway. Well, here is your bonus money check for $125, and then your winner's check, $1,400. That's nice. That's over $1,500 you picked up here today, and you also get the plaque and everything.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
It was great bowling out there today. We had a great finish on the tournament. Okay. Congratulations. This has been produced by WGGB-TV in association with the Western New England Candlepin Association. I hope you enjoyed today's show, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Let's Go Bowling.
Alan Cohen goes behind prison walls to see how our criminal justice system really works. Don't miss Prisons on Trial starting Monday here on the Spirit of the Bay State WGGB TV 40.